Good morning. Today we will study isomorphism and Cayley's theorem. Suppose we are asked to count a handful of objects. In Hindi we say 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas in English we say 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Are the two different things? The answer is no. This is just a counting in two different languages of same objects. Similarly, when person says 2 plus 3 is 5, another say 2 धन 3 बराबर 5. The two are in agreement on the concepts they are describing, but they are using different terminology to describe the concepts. An analogous situation often occurs with the groups. The same group is described with different terminology. We also came across example of this kind so far. For example, we observe that when we have a cyclic group of order n generated by A, the operation turns out to be essentially that of additional modulo n. Since A raised to power R, A raised to power S is equal to A raised to power K, where K equal to R plus S mod N. For example, each of U43 and U49 is a cyclic group of order 42, where A raised to power R, A raised to power S is equal to A raised to power R plus S mod 42. Here U43 is nothing but a set of positive integers less than 43 and relatively prime to 43. Similarly, U49 is set of integers less than 49 and relatively prime to 49. So today we study a formal method of determining whether two groups defined in different terms are really the same. When this is the case, we say that there is an isomorphism between the two groups. This notion was introduced by Galois nearly 180 years ago. The term isomorphism is derived from the Greek word isos. Isos means same or equal, and the morphe means the form. So a group of homomorphism means an isomorphism F from a group G to a group G dash, which is one-to-one mapping from G onto G dash, and that preserves the group operation. That is FA is equal to FA into FB, where for all AB belonging to G. It means the mapping F should be one-to-one. It should be onto, and FAB should be equal to FA into FB, means it should preserve the group operation. If there is an isomorphism from G onto G dash, we say that G and G dash are isomorphic. And in this situation, we write it as like this symbol, that G is and read it G is isomorphic to G dash. So it is implied by the definition of isomorphism, because it is one-to-one and onto mapping, that number of elements in a group G and G dash are same. It means that isomorphic groups have the same order. Secondly, it is also implied by the definition that operation on the left side is left side of the equal to sign is that of G, whereas operation on the right side is that of G dash. Now the four cases involving dot and plus are shown in the table. This is the operation under G, and this is the operation under G dash, and operation preservation is shown here. Suppose dot is the operation under G and dot is the operation under G dash. Then we write then we say that it preserves the operation if F A dot B is equal to F A dot F B. If dot is the operation in G and plus is the operation in G dash, then F A dot B is equal to FA plus FB. If operation in G is that of addition and operation in G dash is that of multiplication, then we write F of A plus B is equal to FA dot FB. And if the operation is addition both in G and G dash, then we write F of A plus B is equal to FA plus FB. Now there are four separate steps involved in proving that a group G is isomorphic to group G dash. First step is, first of all we define a mapping for the isomorphism. That is, we define a function f from G to G dash. In second step, we prove that f is 1, 1. It means if fa is equal to fb, then a is equal to b. In third step, we prove that f is onto. That is, for any element G dash in G dash, we find an element G in G such that fg is equal to G dash. And in last step, we prove that f is operation preserving. That is, we show that FAB is equal to FA into FB. And remember that operation on the left hand side is that of a group G and operation on the right hand side is that of a group G dash, as we discussed in the previous table. So observe one thing, that none of these steps are unfamiliar to it. But roughly the fourth step says that the process of operating and mapping can be done in either order without affecting the result. So now we have some examples of isomorphism or isomorphic group. Let G be the real numbers under addition and G dash be the positive real numbers under addition. Here I have written real numbers. Here we have only positive real numbers. Then G and G dash are isomorphic under the mapping fx equal to 2 raised power x. So we discussed just now, first of all we will show that it is a function, then we will show that it is 1, 1, then we will show that it is onto, then we will prove that f is operation preserving. So clearly, if we define fx equal to 2 raised power x, then f is a function from G to G dash. Now we will prove that this f is, mapping f is 1 to 1. Suppose 2x is equal to 2y. If we take log on both sides, we get log 2 raised power x base 2 log 2 raised power y base 2 are equal. If taking log on both sides, it means x log 2 base 2 is equal to y log 2 base 2. But log 2 base 2 is nothing but 1. So this, it means x is equal to y. Now we will show that f is onto. For this, we must find any number, in fact positive real number y, because y is the element of G dash and G consists of, the G dash consists of positive real numbers y and some real number x such that fx is equal to y. That is, fx is nothing but 2 raised power x. So 2 raised power x equal to y. If we take log on both sides, we will get x log 2 base 2 is equal to log y base 2. So log 2 base 2 is nothing but 1. So on the left hand side we have x and on the right hand side log y base 2. It means x is equal to log y base 2. So we have found the number x for every y belonging to G dash and x belongs to G. So the mapping f is onto. Now finally we will show that f is operation preserving. Let's see, f of x plus y is equal to 2 raised power x plus y. 2 raised power x plus y can be written as 2 raised power x into 2 raised power y. 2 raised power x is nothing but f of x. So f of x and 2 raised power y is f of y. Replace x by y here. So 2 raised power f of y. So for all x and y belonging to G. It means f is operation preserving. Hence G is isomorphic to G dash because the function is well defined on it and the function is 1 1 on 2 and f preserves the operation. Now next example is any infinite cyclic group is isomorphic to Z. Z is the set of integers. Indeed, if A is a generator of the cyclic group, the mapping A raised to power k to k is an isomorphism. Any finite cyclic group A of order n is isomorphic to Zn under the mapping A raised to power k to k mod n. These correspondences are functions and are one-to-one because we know that in a group if A belongs to G and if A has an infinite order then AI is equal to AJ if and only if I equal to J, and if A has a finite order then cyclic group A which is A square A raised to power n minus 1, and in this case AI equal to AJ if and only if n divides I minus j. Here a raised to power I, a raised to power j, and this is true only if n divides I minus j. Obviously the mappings are onto. The mappings are also operation preserving because if n is a fixed positive integer greater than 1, if we write a mod n equal to a dash and b mod n equal to b dash, then a plus b mod n is equal to a dash plus b dash mod n, and AB mod n is equal to A dash B dash mod n. Hence, infinite cyclic group is isomorphic to Z. Now, in the third example, we discussed that the mapping from R under addition to itself given by fx equal to x cube is not an isomorphism, although this mapping defined by fx equal to x cube is 1-to-1 and onto. But this mapping is not operation preserving because if we see f of x plus y f of x plus y is equal to x plus y whole cube, and x plus y whole cube is x cube plus y cube plus 3xy into x plus y. On the other hand, fx is equal to x cube, fy equal to y cube. Therefore, fx plus fy is equal to x cube plus y cube. So, x plus y whole cube is not equal to x cube plus y cube. Therefore, the mapping is not operation preserving since it is not true that x plus y whole cube is equal to x cube plus y cube for all x plus y belonging to the set of real numbers. This never holds. Now, if you consider a set U10, U10s mean the set of positive integers less than 10 and which are relatively prime to 10. Then this is isomorphic to Z4. U5 is also isomorphic to Z4. U5 means set of integers, positive integers less than 5 and relatively prime to 5. To verify this, one need only to observe that both U10 and U5 are cyclic of order 4. And then in the following example, it follows from the example 2. Because in example 2 we have shown that any infinite cyclic group is isomorphic to Z and any finite cyclic group A of order n is isomorphic to Zn. So because U10 and U5 are cyclic group of order 4, therefore it means they are isomorphic. U10 is isomorphic to Z4 and U5 is isomorphic to Z4. However, U10 is not isomorphic to U12. First, notice one thing that in U12, x square is 1. X square means First of all, the U12 is the set of uh, positive integers less than 12, and here the operation is that of multiplication modulo 12. So elements of U12 are nothing but 1, 5, 7 and 11, because these are the only elements which are less than 11 and relatively prime to 12. So these are 1, 5, 7 and 11. Now if we see that, if we denote operation of multiplication modulo 12 by star, then we see that 1 star 1 is equal to 1. 5 star 5 means is equal to 5 into 5, 25, and if we divide 25 by 12, the remainder is 1. So 5 star 5 is 1. Now 7 star 7 means 7 sevens are 49, and if we divide it by 12, 12 fours are 48, so remainder is also 1. Again for 11, 11 elevens are 121, and if we divide it by 12, the remainder is 1. So it means x star x is always equal to 1 for all x in U12. So I have written x square equal to 1 for all x in U12. Always take care of operations under multiplication with respect to a group. Now suppose that f is an isomorphism from U10 to U12. Then f of 9 means is equal to f of 3 into 3, and this is equal to f of 3 into f of 3, and this is equal to 1, because we know that in additional modulo in this U10 the elements are 1, 3, 7, 9, because these are the elements which are relatively prime to 10 and less than 10. So 9 star 9 is equal to 81, and the here operation is additional modulo 10. If we divide it by 10, the remainder is 1. So f of 9 is equal to 1. Also f of 1 is equal to 1. So f of 9 is equal to f of 1, but 9 is not equal to 1, which contradicts the assumption that f is 1, 1. Also, there is no isomorphism from Q, the group of rational numbers under addition, to Q star, the group of non-zero rational number under multiplication. Here we have excluded 0 from the group of rational numbers, because if we include 0, then it will not be a group. So if f were such a mapping, then there would be a rational number a such that f of a equal to minus 1. But in that case, minus 1 is equal to fa, and fa can be written as f of half a plus half a, because in Q, the Q is a group of rational number under addition. So this is half a plus half a, and this is equal to f of half a into f of half a, because in this case the operation is multiplication, because Q star is the group of non-zero rational numbers under multiplication. So f of half a into half a is f of half a whole square. But square of any number, any rational number in fact, is never minus 1. This is only possible in case of imaginary numbers or complex numbers. So in case of rational number, square of any rational number can never be minus 1. So no rational number squared is minus 1. So there is no isomorphism from the group of rational numbers under addition to the group of rational number under multiplication, because we have shown that this is not possible. Now, if we consider the set G equal to SL2R, means the group of 2 by 2 real matrices with determinant equal to 1. We have considered the set of those 2 by 2 real matrices whose determinant is equal to 1. Let M be any 2 by 2 real matrix with determinant 1. Then we can define a mapping from G to G itself by Fma equal to M A M inverse for all A belonging to G. All A belonging to G means A is also a 2 by 2 matrix of determinant 1. Now to verify that Fm is an isomorphism, we will carry out all the 4 steps. So first step was Fm is a function from G to G dash. To show that Fm is a function from G to G, we must show that Fma is a element of G whenever A is. So we observe that determinant of M inverse is equal to determinant of M into determinant of A into determinant of M inverse. Determinant of A is 1, determinant of A is 1, and this is 1 inverse. So this is 1. So it means determinant of M inverse is 1. Also, because M is 2 by 2 matrix, A is also 2 by 2 matrix, then on multiplication, the multiplication is that we use to multiply the matrices. If we multiply M inverse, the resulting matrix is 2 by 2 matrix, and it is of course real matrix. So it means M inverse belongs to G, because this is a 2 by 2 or 2 real matrix with determinant 1. Now the next step is Fm is 1 to 1. Suppose Fma equal to Fmb. Fma is nothing but M inverse. We have defined here Fma equal to Ma inverse. If we replace A by B, where B is also a 2 by 2 real matrix with determinant 1, then this will be MB M inverse. If we apply left cancellation law, so M will cancel out. By right cancel law, M inverse will cancel out, because determinant of M is 1. So we can find its inverse and it is non-zero. So we can cancel it. And this implies A is equal to B by left cancellation law and right cancellation law. It means Fm is 1, 1. Now we will show that it is onto. Let B belong to G, then we must find a matrix A belonging to G such that Fma equal to B. If such a matrix A exists, it must have the property that M inverse is equal to B. Or we can say that A is equal to M inverse Bm. This can be easily obtained if we pre-multiply by M inverse and post-multiply by M. If we pre-multiply by M inverse, so M inverse M is nothing but identity matrix. Post-multiply by M inverse M is nothing but identity element. Any matrix multiplied by identity matrix is the matrix only. So we get A equal to M inverse Bm. So Fma equal to Ma M inverse, and if we substitute the value of A, M inverse, B, M inverse. Again by associativity and of matrices under multiplication, and inverse is nothing but identity matrix, and we will get only, we will left only with B. So for every B belonging to G, we have find the matrix A such that Fma equal to B. It means Fm is onto. Now we will show that Fm is operation preserving. Let A and B belongs to G. It means Fmab is equal to Mab M inverse. And we can write it as Ma using associativity and Bm inverse. And Mm inverse is nothing but the identity matrix. So we can introduce identity matrix, because this multiplication does not affect, because if we multiply any matrix by identity matrix, we get the same matrix. So by using again associativity, this is equal to Ma M inverse equal to Mb M inverse. This is nothing but Fma and this is nothing but FMB. So the mapping FM is called the conjugation of M. So we have demonstrated that FM is operation preserving mapping. It is 1 1, it is onto, it is a function. So we have proved all the 4 steps. It means the group G, we have proved that there is a FM is an isomorphism because all the properties are satisfied. Now we will prove the Cayley's theorem. Every group G, every group is isomorphic to a group of permutation. This is a statement of Cayley's theorem. Let G be any group. We must find a group G dash of permutation that is isomorphic to G. For any G belonging to G, define a function Tg from G to G by Tgx equal to Gx for all x belonging to G. So Tg is just a multiplication by G on the left to the element of x belonging to G. So Tg is a permutation on the set of elements of G. Let G dash is equal to the set of Tg such that G belonging to G. Here Tg we have defined as the function Tg is defined as Tgx equal to Gx. Now we will show that this G dash is a group under the operation of function composition. Because to prove the isomorphism, first of all we define a function. So we have defined, so first of all we will prove that G dash is a group under the operation of function composition. We have defined Tg equal to Tgx equal to Gx and G dash equal to Tg such that G belongs to G. So first of all we observe that if G and H are elements in G, then Tg Thx is equal to Tg into Thx. Function composition, and this is equal to Thx is nothing but Hx. By definition here Tgx is Gx, so Thx equal to Hx. So Tg Hx is G into Hx, and this is nothing but Gh into x because G, H, X are all elements of G and G is a group. It means TGH X. So we have proved that Tg into Th is equal to Tgh. Since Gh is the element of G, therefore Tgh belongs to G dash. It means G dash is closed with respect to function composition. This is the first property of a group. Now let E be the identity element of G. So Tg into Te is equal to Tge by the closure property. We have proved that Tg into Th is the Tgh. Here we have shown. So using the closure axiom, Tge is equal to Tge, and G and E are elements of group. So E is the identity element of the group. Ge is nothing but E. So this is equal to E. Similarly, Te into Tg is Teg, and this is equal to E. It means Te is the identity of the group, identity of G dash. Now let G inverse be the inverse of G belonging to G. G is given to be a group. So Tg inverse G is equal to Tg inverse G. Again we have applied here closure axiom, and this is G inverse G is equal to E because G is the element of group and inverse of each element exists in a group. Also similarly Tg inverse is equal to Tg inverse, and this is equal to E. Hence Tg inverse of Tg belongs to G dash. Since Function composition is associative. We have verified all the condition of a condition for G dash to be a group. So G dash, which we had defined as Tg as G dash equal to Tg such that G belongs to G, where Tgx equal to Gx is a group under operation of function composition. Let F be a mapping from G to G dash such that Tg equal to Tg for G belonging to G. Now we will show that this mapping is a isomorphism. So for the to prove that G and G dash are isomorphic, first we define a function, then we prove that f that function is 1 1, and then we show that the function is onto, and in the last step we show that the function preserves the group operation. So we have defined a function from G to G dash so that fg equal to tg. If tg is equal to th, then tge equal to the by definition. So this is equal to tg equal to he, and this implies g equal to h. Therefore f is onto. Now next, if tg belongs to g dash, then g belongs to g by definition of tg, and it means fg is equal to tg. So for we have found the element g in g such that fg equal to tg. This implies f is onto. The only condition that remains to be checked is that of operation preserving now. Let a and b belongs to g. F of ab equal to tab. Tab is nothing but ta into tb, and by first property, and this is equal to fa into fb. So fab is equal to f of fa into fb. It means f preserves function composition. So we have shown that it is a function, it is 1 1, it is onto, and it preserves function composition. It means G is isomorphic to G dash. Thus, we have shown that every group is isomorphic to group of permutation. First, we define a group of permutation for the given group, and then we prove that group is isomorphic to group of permutation. The group G dash constructed above is called the left regulator of G. For concreteness, we calculate the left regular representation U12 dash for U12. U12, we discussed that it is nothing but 1, 5, 7, 11, because U12 is the set of all positive integers less than 12 and relatively prime to 12. So it is 1, 5, 7, 11. So U12 is a group under multiplication modulo 12. Writing the permutation of U12 in array form, we have T1 is equal to, in the first row I have 1, 5, 7, 11. If we operate 1 with the elements of first row, we get, here remember the operation is multiplication modulo 12. So 1 star 1 is 1, 1 star 5 is 5, 1 star 7 is 7, and 1 star 11 is 11 in first case. For T5, if we operate 5 with a first element, then we get 5 star 1 is 5, 5 star 5 is 25. 5 star is the additional multiplication modulo 12. So 5 star 5 is 25, 5 into 5 is 25, and if we divide 25 by 12, the result is, the remainder is 1. So 5 star 5 is 1. 5 star 35, 5 star 35 is 5 star 7 means 5 into 7 is 35, and if we divide 35 by 24, then the remainder is 12 twos are 24, 35 minus 24 is 11. So I have written 11 here. Now 5 star 11. 5 star 11 means 5 into 11 is 55. 55, if you divide it by 12, 12 fours are 48. 55 minus 48 is 7. Remainder is 7. So I have written 7 here. Now we will operate element of first row with 7 and denoted by T7. So 7 star 1 is 7. 7 star 5 is 35. If we divide 35 by 12, 12 twos are 24. 35 minus 12 is 11. So remainder is 11. Now 7 star 7. 7 star 7 is 49, and 49 means 12 fours are 48. 49 minus 48 is 1. Remainder is 1. So 1. 7 star 11. 7 star 11 means 77. 77 means if you divide by 12, 12 6 are 72. 77 minus 72 is 5. So I have written 5 here. So element of second row are 7, 11, 1 and 5. So now we will operate the element of first row by 11. 11 star 1 is 11. 11 star 5 is 55. So 55, if we divide 55 by 12, 12 fours are 48, the remainder is 7. So I have written 7 here. 11 sevens are 77. If we divide 77 by 12, the result is 12 6 are 72. The result is remainder is 5. Now 11 star 11 is 121. If we divide 121 by 12, 12 tens at 120, remainder is 1. So in the second row, this is 11, 7, 5 and 1. We also know how to construct the composition table. 1, 5, 7, 11, 1, 5, 7, 11. We operate 1 with this, 1 with top border row. This is 1, 5, 7, 11. Then operate 5 with top border of the row. We get 5, 1, 11, 7. We have discussed in T5. Then we might operate 7 with top border row. This will be 7, 11, 1, 5. We have discussed in T7. And if we operate 11 with top border row, we will get 11, 7, 5 and 1. We have discussed in T11. And if we represent this table by in T1 notation, then we can write here T1, T5, T7, T11. Here T1, T5, T7, T11. In the first row, we will have T1, T5, T7, T11. T1 operated with T1, T1 operated with T5, T1 operated with T7, T1 operated with T11. If we carry out these operations, we will get T5, T1, T11, T7. Here T7, T11, T1, T5, T11, T7, T5 and T1. So now first observe one thing. We discussed in one example when in which we had taken U12 that x square is 1. See, 1 star 1 is 1, 5 star 5 is 1, 7 star 7 is 1, 11 star 11 is 1. Now we compare the Cayley table U12 and its left regular representation U12 dash. U12 and U12 dash are only notationally different. Otherwise, there is no difference in this. So, Cayley's theorem is important for two contrasting reasons. One is that it allows us to represent an abstract group in a concrete way. A second is that it shows that the present day set of axioms we have adopted for a group is the correct abstraction of its much earlier predecessors, a group of permutations. Indeed, Cayley's theorem tells us that the abstract groups are not different from the permutation group. Rather, it is the viewpoint that is different. It is this difference of viewpoint that has stimulated tremendous progress in group theory and many other branches of mathematics in the 20th century. It is sometimes very difficult to prove or disapprove, whichever the case may be, that two particular groups are isomorphic. For example, it requires somewhat sophisticated techniques to prove the surprising fact that the group of real numbers under addition is isomorphic to the group of complex number under addition. Similarly, it is not easy to prove the fact that group of non-zero complex number under multiplication is isomorphic to the group of complex number with absolute value of 1 under multiplication. In geometric terms, this says that as groups, the punctured plane and the unit circle are isomorphic. Thank you.